human being who, even after going through a series of grave challenges in her life, facing moral policing, body shaming, toxicity in relationships, and the stereotypes of the society, she never gave up. Instead, she broke all stereotypes and paved her own way, becoming one of the famous solo bike riders in India and being recognized and awarded by the Himachal Pradesh government and inspiring thousands of lives and bringing smiles on their faces. Although she has achieved and accomplished lots of awards and lots of her goals in life, yet she feels the biggest award that she has been blessed in life is that she is still alive today after all the challenges that she has faced and gone through in life and living the way that she wants to live. And thus, she is intensifying humanity in her best possible extent. Welcome, Praveena, to my show, Intensify Humanity, and I'm so glad to see you here, and I'm excited to have the discussion with you today.
Actually, I'm honored. Thank you.
That's so sweet of you. Thank you, Praveena. Thank you so much. Let me also tell you, I love your smile.
Even I love the thing.
All right. So, Praveena, my first question to you is, you are a highly influential solo rider in India. So I'm sure it did not just start overnight. Could you share a brief story about the background of how this journey actually started, where it began, and when was the first time you thought actually to become a rider after all?
I should actually thank my ex-husband. I had a bad marriage, like anybody have. But one thing is that um, I tried to come out of it. Even I came, but my divorce involved lots of process, and it was going on. And going to court, seeing all this mess, going through all these atrocities was a big deal. Then I moved to Bangalore. I used to go for case twice in a month, maybe once in a month, like that. But literally, with time, I started sinking into depression. Depression in the sense every day I used to wake up and realize, oh, again one more day I'm alive. I don't know, in India, being a divorcee is a crime, uh, more than being a slut, I would say. Even a slut won't be taunted, tortured this way. But a divorcee, like I'm not talking just because I'm a woman, I had to go through that. No, even men does go through the same situation. In Kerala, in my family, my relatives, they used to treat me like a bad woman just because I chose to come out of a toxic and like, see, people thinks that if you work, it is something like you can fix with some fevicol or something. Relationships are not like that. If you are unhappy, if you are unsatisfied, come out of it. uh, it is okay to have an illicit affair, if it is okay to have an extramarital affair, but it is not okay to get separated from a person with whom you're not happy. So once I did it, like back in 7 years back, it was like, oh, my family they treated me like I committed a crime. I committed a crime. And many actually, even my old schoolmates, college mates, they forgot that I'm Praveena. They treated me like a divorcee. Divorcee, that too, like I cannot smile, I cannot laugh. You won't even believe, I was not even allowed to post a pic of mine with my bike. Like I started riding just because of depression. Then one fine day I posted a picture online. My own sister asked me, you know, now you are a divorcee. What are you doing in Bangalore? Why are you torturing us? What will people say? And I was like, what did I do? Did I posted a picture with a man like in an hasty way or something? No. Even if it is happening, that is my choice. Just because I'm going through a divorce ain't mean that I don't deserve anything else in my life. So uh I would say like once you go through some messy relationship, people start drinking, drugging, uh they will go for crazy stuff, and I fell in love with petrol. I would always say that I get high with petrol. Even today, uh, the only two things which makes me happy is petrol and coffee. Bikes taught me lot many stuffs. But like, you don't need to fake it anymore. Let people say anything. I used to cry even if someone used to stare at me. I used to be such a girl. Now it's like I shaved my head. I went out without any fear. I don't care. I don't fear being judged these days. I can ride. Even after my cesarean, I kept on riding. That too, like pretty dangerous terrains. I felt, yeah, obviously there were people who helped me. But the thing is that, like, still I'm doing things which I thought that I'll never do. I can never do. So that's it.
Your story says a lot about what kind of pain you have gone through. And as you have rightly mentioned, it's not only women, but men also are labeled once they get divorced. And in
Exactly.
India, being a divorcee is like a crime, it's like a label people put, right? It's like, what have you done? So you have gone through lots of things. And related to this, I would like to ask you that the quote, one of your quotes that you have posted out on Instagram is, I want to read it out with your permission, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. Oh, you're free.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really hate it when people say they are still your family. Just because someone is your family doesn't mean you have to keep them in your life. If they are toxic, just throw them. At times, blood means nothing. It ain't thicker than your peace of mind. Don't let people guilt you into being in contact with you, anyone who aren't good for your mental health. So, this speaks a lot about what you have gone through. And there are so many people who are undergoing mental challenges because of the things they are not able to come out of. They are not able to speak for themselves, for their rights, or even their peace of mind, what they deserve, their happiness. So, what do you think is the main reason that people still cling on to their guilt and shame and don't take any action? What do you think is the root cause?
First thing in India, especially in Kerala, like from where I'm coming, the thing is that people take family as a big deal. Uh, Glorification of relationships. So, see, there is nothing to be glorified about a relationship. I don't think so. I don't feel like that. See, even I want Akni to grow like, okay, I'm her mother, but it is not like she cannot have any differences with me. We should have differences. Um, I'll tell what happened with me. My problem is that I'm not good. I'm not perfect. I have lots of flaws, but I wear it so proudly. I wear it so proudly. If somebody slaps me, I'll slap him back, him her back, whoever it is. If I don't like something, I'll tell on face. Sorry, I cannot. I say no. I know how to say no. It is that itself. It's many people. They hate, like there are people who hates no's. I'm a person like, oh, what can you say? Um, I don't like double timing in relationships, which I'm strictly against. But I have seen my relatives in my family saying like, it's okay, your extramarital affair is fine until it is like behind a veil, if others doesn't know. How can you like, how can you live a lie, man? If you are not happy, come out of a relationship, go and whatever heck you want to do, it's okay. But cheating a person, I don't know, I cannot agree with that. I had relationships, but I never double timed. First thing. Secondly, they say they are like progressive, they are like they give freedom. I don't know what is this giving freedom. Freedom is vested on like vested in every person. Your freedom is with you, it is not with your dad, mom, your brother, nobody. It is vested in you. And obviously I write a lot in Facebook especially, so people have problem with that. Yeah. When somebody is speaking of the reality, why you need to get angry, why you need to get enraged on truth? People people are happy with lies actually. And recently I had to break up with my mother. uh, Everybody, every single person who knows me, even I know that, uh, till last July she was the person whom I loved maybe more than anybody else. Not more than me, anybody else. I had to break up with her. So when I say I broke up with my family, people are like, you broke up with your family? No, yeah, you can break up with your family, not just your boyfriend, girlfriend, or your husband, wife. You can break up with any toxic person. Uh, Whenever somebody asks me what is going on, what is the why are you not talking to this person, I'll say that I'm feeling it. He is toxic or else she is toxic. People doesn't understand like why am I saying so. You people are like, you get sucked up, you get fucked up in a relationship, but stay in it just to satisfy the fragile egos of your relatives, your family, your friends, and your society. Why you need to do that? Why you need to do that? Like, see, to be frank, I'll cut off with any person who is living a lie. That is the least thing which I can say.
I especially want to highlight that point that you just shared a few minutes back, that you have your 2-year-old kid, and soon she'll grow up and she'll have her own views, have her own life. And it is so essential, like letting her grow up and live as an individual, not associating with how parents want her to live, be it a girl or a boy, doesn't matter. So the entire thing starts when the parents think that they should be just like us, and they should live the life that we live. They should be the person that we imagine to be, and all the chaotic things happen. And that's why uh, so many kids and so many adolescent people, they go through so many kind of mental problems and stress issues and all these things. So thank you for highlighting that point as well. To ask you, the next question is, you have gone through different kind of terrains, different kind of rides, not only in India but across India as well. So any most challenging time or challenging experience you came across that you will never forget, or it was entirely life threatening, or something that was so good that is always memorable to you? Any one or two incidents can you share?
Every moment, I would say, it is challenging. You can see me blushing, which actually comes when you talk about your relationship, your boyfriend, your love, and all. But I blush when I talk about rides. Uh, yeah, as I told, I'm a Spiti person. I love Spiti Valley, and uh, I am so blessed that I could go there many times, and I have friends there, I have families there, so I'm blessed. I'm blessed, and another favorite is for sure. I love Bhutan. I love the people of Bhutan. So sorted. Normally, Pahadis are good, like uh, inhabitants of mountains. They are so sorted. Uh, no, like so selfless. They aren't self-centered and all. They are so sorted. So I love them. And challenging in the sense, obviously last one, like there were landslides. Obviously, when you go to mountains, flash floods, avalanche, uh, landslides, what do you say, shooting stones, everything is a big mess. So last time it was like, um, as I put on lots of weight, sutures are still like hurting. I don't know why. I don't know with others. Like for me, it was like April, in the sense it was just an year of my delivery. Still, I had issues, and I did one of the most dangerous stretch. That is Panki, Panki Runang stretch. That was like, that too with my normal classic 350 was like hell. But there were two other riders who were stuck. They did help me. That is the reason why I could complete it. And people thinks that, oh, she rides solo, so she is so brave and all. No, I am a person who will fall everywhere, anywhere. You won't believe, I'll hike to a place. Uh, I don't know, with that excitement or what, I don't know. But once I reach there, I'll definitely keep my clutch on. Then I'll just come down, and then, like, without falling, I won't hike anywhere. That was the only, like, what do you say? Only problem with my riding. I'll fall in slush, I'll fall in water, but one thing, I won't fall in snow, fresh snow. Uh, Black ice and all, definitely I'll go, but in snow, I can, like, I have rode many times without tires. Challenging in the sense, see, personally, basically, I would say each and every mile which I have rode is so close to me. I would say I appreciate that I have uh, lived dreams of many others. And definitely, you can call
That is
me
something
God.
people are jealous about you, and they are not able to express that. That's why that comes out in terms of hate. So that's very obvious. That's very evident.
Incurable disease anyway. But the thing is that, like, riding solo, like, even I get so emotional talking about it, because it is your journey. You connect with your machine a lot. Like, what do you say? I love it. I in fact say I don't ride. I live my machine. So that is the, and obviously the only ride which is like this, a point like this high, is my 2017's, or probably my last Ladakh ride, just because I was pregnant. We have lot of taboo here. um, like, you, if you're pregnant, you sit at home and all. And obviously, like, you are not even allowed to move out of your house. And I was riding in Ladakh. That was like, I don't know. I started, like, I was supposed to change my machine. I was supposed to buy a new bike, but I don't know, like, will I be able to sell my bike till I die? Because uh, everywhere I used to fall. Like, even when doing Pan India and all, um, I wasn't hiking anywhere. Like even a narrow hike, I used to fall. Then I had to take my bike back, and then again I used to hike. But during Ladakh ride, yeah, I had a minor fall. But after that, yeah, I fell in slush, but I didn't fell anywhere after that. I didn't fell in Sarchu. I didn't fell in Rotang. I didn't fell in all those bad like kinda patches. I didn't fell in water crossings. I didn't fell anywhere. Even in Zosila, crossing Zosila, like with your specs completely dusty, with completely pebble road and all slushy. I didn't fell anywhere. And I was like, what is happening with me? I was completely okay. I used to check everywhere, like wherever I used to go and take a break, wherever I used to go to pee, I used to check whether I'm still pregnant or not pregnant. I would have kept at least uh, 40 50 Preganews kit with me to check out this thing. I was back in Chandigarh. Still, I was like 2 days I waited whether like whether I lost my baby. I was scared. Like I was sure that I would have lost my baby because those roads and miscarriage, matlab, I was sure that it was a miscarriage, but Agni is there. So that ride is so like not challenging, I would say. I was like literally, I don't know. Every time I used to say that I ride solo, and that time I already got into second month. I wasn't knowing because I had this like mm, during chums I used to have lots of issues, and there were some periodical issues and all. Menstrual cycle wasn't good, so I was thinking that it is regarding that. But can you imagine somebody like uh, dancing on Pista Sumagira? That is a like quite famous song in South. Uh, During second month of pregnancy, that too solo rider. Before that, Kartungla Tigers board and all. Like I was, I don't know. Like I have no words. I have no words, and I am like I don't know. 2017, why did I when that was also a question because uh, I was done with Ladakh. I have been many times there, so I had no other purposes for going. I don't know uh, whether I went there just to prove that if you're happy, if your intention is good, everything will be good with you.
Memories. And you also call your bike Bulatoon, right? Bulutan,
Bulletin.
sorry, Ulta. Okay, it's Bulutan. It's really a cute name that you have given it. Thank you for sharing such detail and with such honesty, Praveena, because it takes, as I mentioned previously, it takes guts and courage to come out with the darkest experiences of life. And it is not easy. It is definitely not easy to tell the world, not to gain a sympathy, not to show off, or not to do anything, but to tell people that if I can make it, you can also. So, thank you for being so honest. And I would also like to ask you, related to this riding, which is your favorite thing in life, or maybe your life, is that what is the message you want to give to all the first time riders, be it women or man, it does not matter, but especially women? So, what is the message you want to give?
Write for yourself, not for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all. That is the basic stuff I would say. Because I am sorted, or like I am contented just because of when I started. Obviously, I was depressed. I was using a normal Nokia phone and all. I just used to go. I never try to impress anybody, saying when I started getting some fame, I used to be like, oh, lady rider and all, rider me. I used to uh, get fascinated with those stuffs. Later, like sooner itself, I have realized that no, we knew this is not the right thing because, see, uh, first of all, right to grow yourself, to satisfy yourself, to meet the better version of yourself, I would say. Don't write just because your neighbor is doing, just because some other people are doing. See, uh, writing and woman, recently there is a trend like, oh, a lady is riding that bike, this bike and all. Sorry, gender has nothing to do with machines. Machines has nothing to do with genders. And people have taken it seriously. See, it is important to make yourself happy. Like, you do cooking, some people do cooking, some people do writing. Like, you are into this webinars or these things because it makes you happy, it makes you contented. uh I do it for like, writing is my cup of tea. That is the thing. And
So, thank you for sharing that, Pravina, being so open and pouring your heart out. So, what is that one thing you have learned from writing?
I would say that never give up. That is the only one thing which bikes, which roads, which no roads, which off roads, which any terrain have taught me, which I have learned. Because I still remember, as told, I have a phobia with water. But anyway, water crossings are a must in, like, it'll be there in high altitude. And anywhere I always fall, and I'm so proud that I'll definitely fall, but I'll get up even if nobody is there to help me. Because I still remember last time when I was going to Guru Dongmar, Sikkim. There was a water crossing. It was not that big. While seeing, I felt like it is okay. So there was a military truck going, army truck going before me. They were just moving very slow because it was like all zigzags and all. So in that uh, water crossing, it was just like evening as well. Like quite near to Lachin, just before Lachin it was. So I think many people will be knowing about that water crossing as well, who have been to that place. It will be like a normal one, but once you go into that, it will be deep. And it was all like pebble with big stones and all. And literally I had a I got scared. And bike was just standing on that, what do you say, crash guard. And my entire shoe was filled with that cold glacier melted water. I was like, no, should I call those people? Should I call those people? Should I ask that military truck to stop and all? But at the end of the day, bolte hai na, like ego pe aa gaya. So I was like, okay, no, let them go, I'll manage. But then it started getting freezing, sun is setting down, and with spectacles riding in night, like I do ride, but in mountains it is kinda like playing with your life. So I don't know, like I had bad muscle cramps. uh with that cramping feet, leg and all. Somehow I made it up. I didn't give it up. Matlab, it would have taken at least like 10-15 minutes. I was completely frozen. By the time I reached my hotel, my fingers were literally that purple color, bulged and all. But I'm okay, like, you see, solo riding, it is all about willingness and willpower. You will do it, no matter, you will do it. You will make it up, yaar. Ki, I still remember reaching, what is the place? Tangku. Tangku check post. Before Guru Dongma Tangku, yes, I don't exactly remember. But the thing is that, uh, everybody was saying don't go anyway. From Tangu checkpost, you will be sent back as it's snowing in Gurudongmar. It was in February. So even then, I thought like, chalo, since I'm here, I'll just give it a shot because I love that route. There were icy places. They were like slushy places. And again, while hiking, uh, I would have fell full how many times? Like yeah, 3 times. After third fall only, I could climb up, and I went. Military people obviously they send me back. So that is the thing. Like simply like I never gave up. I would say it is like what do you say? There is a saying in Hindi like जब मैं अपने पे आ जाती हूँ मैं कुछ भी कर सकती हूँ. Like I can do anything. In the sense, people say that, oh, don't do night riding in Bihar, don't do night riding in UP and all. You won't believe. Even I shared that picture in Facebook. Um, I slept in an open dhaba in that, what do you call, charpai and all. They were meant. Everybody were there. They offered me dal, chawal, and I will never forget that gobi masala.
Once again, I would like to highlight that it's not easy to say things that you have gone through over the years over and over again. It's not easy to, bear your pain. It's not easy to show people the scars that you have got, and it's not easy to own up your own flaws and still be proud of it, to wear your own attitude, your own opinion, your own flaws on your sleeves and walk the world, right? And also doing stuffs that nobody else is doing, still wanting to do in their own heart at some where or the other, but they don't have the guts to do it, but you have done it. So thank you once again for coming to the show and sharing each and everything with so much of detail, and pouring your heart out. And also, yes, you are directly indirectly inspiring so many lives, and I wish you all the best for all your upcoming adventures, all the spontaneous adventures as well. And may you get everything that you want in whatever endeavor, uh, in your present or future. So thank you once again.